Hello and welcome to Munich. We're on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference, and our guest today is the mayor of Kyiv, Vitali Klitschko. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I want to begin with the news that Alexei Navalny has died in Russian custody. What is your reaction? What does it mean?
He's not died. He was killed. Exactly the same story like Politkovskaya, Boris Nemtsov, right now Navalny. Every one of them was in opposition. And that's why in Russia, if you tell your opinion, and your opinion is different with opinion of power of Putin in Russia, you will be put in prison or you're killed.
It's 2 years of war now in Ukraine. In the West, many people think that time is on Russia's side, that Russia eventually may gain the upper hand. Is this how you feel on the ground in Kyiv?
We live already 2 years in the war. I remember time exactly 2 years ago, we discussed here in Munich about support of Ukraine. Right now, we can smiling. We're talking about 5,000 helms just for protection. And actually, too long people think and make a decision to support Ukraine. And it's very important to support Ukraine. It's very important to support democracy. It's very important to support international rules. And today's world is black and white. Or you for the war, or you for the peace, or you for democracy or dictator. And that's why it's very important here in Munich Conference to make a strategy and what the democratic world do it as the next. First point, second point, unity around Ukraine, the key for peace and freedom in Europe. And Ukraine was the largest country in Europe, and from stability in Ukraine depends stability in whole Europe. And that's why we have to do it and make decision how we defend Ukraine, how we defend democracy, and to bring stability back to Europe.
But aren't you concerned when you see the debates in the US, even questions in Europe? We know there are not enough ammunitions, planes, and so on, that Ukraine is not getting enough support, that people are getting tired of Ukraine in the West?
Everyone in the West have to understand. We are in Ukraine defend not just our home and our families, not defend just our country. We're defending every one of you in Europe and everyone in the world if we have the same values. Everyone have to understand the reason of this senseless war. We Ukrainians want to be the part of the democratic world. Putin see us as part of Russian Empire. It's not secret. Putin told very open Ukraine was never independent, the part of Russian Empire. The Baltic countries was also part of Russian Empire. Poland was also part of Russian Empire. I spent a lot of time in Germany. I tell to Germans, please never underestimate the Russians. In sick vision of Putin, the big part of Germany where Putin spent as years long as KGB agent was also part of Soviet or Russian Empire. And that's why right now it's very important unity around Ukraine, because we fighting and protected everyone. And it will be the biggest mistake to think the war far away. It doesn't touch me personally. Right now the war touched already millions of people, not just in Ukraine, also in Europe. And this war can touch everyone in the world. One example, I talking about worst case scenario. One of the largest nuclear station in Energodar in Zaporizhia stay in the front line was in the fire. If explosion will be there, it will be tragedy times bigger than Chernobyl catastrophe. In this worst case scenario, this war can touch everyone in our planet, and that's why we have to do it everything what we can to stop this senseless war.
Right. What about how the war is conducted? The outgoing chief of the armed forces, Vladimir Zaluzhny, said there was a stalemate. He was replaced, maybe because he said this. Do you agree with the way the military leadership is being changed right now in the middle of the war? Is this a good move, or do you think that it's a bad decision for bad reasons?
To replace Zaluzhny, I guess, is mistake, but it's decision of president. He have rights to replace some generals, and Zaluzhny talk open. It's we need right now to develop a new strategy, not old school. Right now, new technology play a very important role, and yes, of course, Russia have a much bigger army, a much bigger human resources, and as Ukraine, and that's why the key for to win this war, the modern weapons, and we expect from our friends to support in weapons is life important for us.
Is Zelensky prosecuting the war in a good manner, or do you think that he has made mistakes and he's continued to make mistakes?
It's everyone can make mistakes, but it's very important never do it dramatic mistakes, which bring danger to for the country. And we fighting, and we support our soldier and do it everything what we can to help them and to stop this war, to win this war.
Is Kyiv now much better protected? Do you feel safe now in Kyiv, or is it still pretty much a target?
Last winter, not this one, last winter, 23 was most difficult winter ever in our history. We have huge deficit of energy because Russian missiles and drones destroyed our critical infrastructure. Where's the reason to let people freezing without heating in the winter, to live without water, electricity? Just one explanation: Putin try to bring depressive mood to everyone in our citizens, and we have to, as refugees, to move outside of the country, and that's why the Putin need property. They don't need us, Ukrainians. And last winter, I want to say thank you very much for humanitarian help, for electric generators, what we received from around the world. We first time in our history stopped our electric public transportation, and this year, this winter, we protected much better. One more time, thank you for anti-missile system what received our country, and we shoot down already every missile, so every kamikaze drones. By the way, we need more and to have better protection because part of missiles fall down and destroy the buildings, apartment buildings, still kill our citizens.
Right. You gave an interview a few weeks ago to a German newspaper, and you said, we'll no longer be very different from Russia if everything depends on the whim of one man. Obviously, this is Vladimir Zelensky. Is democracy in danger in Ukraine as we speak?
We Ukrainians have to not forget what fighting for. We're fighting to make Ukraine a democratic country, and that's why if some activity from government, central government, doing the wrong way, never talk about that. I guess it's mistakes, and that's why it's very important to save Also, I understand it's a very unusual situation, the war. But anyway, during the war, we have to save democratic values.
Are they in danger with Zelensky? That's my question, because that's what you seem to indicate.
That's why I told it's signal to Zelensky, it's signal to our partners. Very important to save democratic values, human rights, and press freedom. It's from that depend our future.
And you say they're in danger right now in Ukraine.
I see a wrong movement, and that's why every mistake can be very painful, and that's why I'm talking about very open.
Right. Should there be elections in Ukraine during wartime, or do you agree that it's not the right time?
Actually, right now, last November have to be election in our parliament, and next spring the election of our president. My personal opinion is during the war, political competition between different parties inside the country can destroy the country from inside. It's poison for the country, and that's why election have to be definitely when war will be stopped. It's a time for election, because right now we need unity, every political forces, and competition is a poison.
Will you be a candidate when there are presidential elections?
This will be biggest mistake to think about some position. We fighting right now to survive, to save the country. And so if some politician to make a polls and to make a plans right now, main priority to unite it, main priority to defend country, to save the country. And if someone think about some position, the country can be not exist. And right now we're fighting to survive. And that's why when war will be stopped, we can talking about that. Right now,
it's not the moment.
It's not the moment.
Vitali Klitschko, I want to thank you very much for appearing here on France 24. And thank you for watching this show.